episode of Raging Out in Clash. As always, my name is Jen, and I'm here with the lovely SK.
Hello.
And today we are going to be talking about just a handful of things. Our war league's wrapped up, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Our war streak, we haven't touched on that on the last couple episodes that we've done, so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk a little bit more about the troop update, or the update, I guess, in general, and the super troops. I know that I had said that I didn't like them before, so you'll kind of get my take on how I feel about them now, and as well as SKs. And we're going to talk about the events that we've got going on. We've got 4 events still going on and a couple new ones coming up. And we're going to talk about, we've kind of noticed the trend. A lot of people are kind of getting back into the game now, so we'll just kind of weigh in on our opinions on that. And then we will round it out with the always can't fix stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we've shortened it to can't fix stupid, but we still think we can fix rush.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the whole mantra. You can fix rush, but you can't fix stupid.
Yes.
Okay. I guess we'll kick off. Clan War Leagues.
Start with our war league. How did we end up doing in our war leagues? What did we do? We won 3 wars.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this league's just like last league, there was a couple teams that weren't playing as much. They used a few attacks. They obviously didn't use all of their attacks. So we won 3 wars. I think 2 of those were definitely because they didn't attack. But we had one really close war that we ended up winning, and we kind of mixed things up one more as well, because we wanted to give everybody a chance to get their 8 stars. Our new people were struggling. We had one Town Hall 8. I think he played in 5 wars. He only got 1 star. Just kind of wasn't getting it. So for one war, we threw in our 10s to 7s. Our top 3 sat out and kind of gave them an opportunity to kind of see what it feels like to have that pressure on them as well. And I think they ended up winning that war. I think that was one of the wars that was a little bit closer, but the team didn't, use all their attacks and whatnot. So,
and I think that's a sort of a judgment call, and a good judgment call by the War General, because, the War Generals looked at the whole 7 wars we've got planned coming up, and it was a good decision to I guess it was a good sort of judgment call to say, okay, this war, in all likelihood, they might not attack, or if they do attack, they don't generally tend to score very many stars. We can therefore allow, I guess, a margin of error and give our lower town halls a chance to sort of gain their 8 stars. And I think that's a good sign of, for in our clan, it's a good sign of good war generaling, and just making that opportunity to get that stars, and that's all that the war general can do. And it's a juggling act to sort of make sure that your clan does well in clan war leagues, because obviously where you finish determines how many medals you win at the end, but also finding that right balance between getting as many stars as you can as a clan, but also getting everyone that 8 stars to get the full reward. So yeah, I think, as you said, some took advantage of that opportunity. I was particularly impressed with one of our 10L7s, new person as well. I felt they really understood the difference between hitting your equal town hall and hitting something that's not even remotely in sight. If you're 2 free town hall, you're hitting 2 free town halls higher up than you, there is a different way of attacking. The importance of knowing what your sniping units do and how they differ. And that Town Hall 7 that we put in there, yes, he or she didn't always get that star or didn't always get that percentage, but you could see that the effort and the thought of taking that instruction to sort of say, okay, look, what kind of buildings can you snipe? Where's the best way to come in? And I was quite impressed with that. And I fully think that he or she deserved those medals, those extra medals, and it was nice. And I think it's nice that, as you know, for Clan Royal Leagues, you do get bonus medal batches that you can apply. You can sort of reward members of your clan to do so.
I don't think we've ever talked about that, kind of how we divvy out the bonus medals.
No, and I guess we can probably talk about that in another one, another episode. We do as a clan have a general structure in terms of how we reward our clan members, and obviously the better that we do in Clan War Leagues, the more medals that we can allocate. And I believe that you and I and the other leaders in the clan have had a general discussion in terms of how are we going to allocate these medals each and every time. It's not always there'll be some clans that are like, well, I'm just giving them all to me. There'll be some clans that'll be, we give them to everyone that scores the most stars, and I think that's counterproductive. You can understand why, but I think it's counterproductive because they're already getting their 8 and then getting more bonus medals.
Well, and I think too, like, you have to look at where they are on the map and what bases they're hitting. So, because if you've got somebody, if you're in a level clan and you've got, say, a Town Hall 9 at the bottom who is always getting that lowest base that the other clan is throwing in, it could be a Town Hall 8, it could be a Town Hall 3 sometimes. I think, and some clans don't care, but I think, you got to take that into account because you want to be fair to everybody, and just because they're at the top of the leaderboard with stars doesn't mean that they should be earning the batches, the extra batches of medals, which, is a good thing. It's a good example in our clan because, our top 3 bases, UI and the Town Hall 11, we're usually, like, every single time we're up at the top because obviously we're not hitting our equal most of the time because, people below us are failing and we're dipping down to get those easier bases. So, to give us those extra batches for getting all the, stars and stuff, it would be pointless and not fair to everybody.
And then there's just some clans whereby they might have multiple accounts, and some leaders might just give them all to their minis and distribute it that way, and that's how they like to run their clan. But for our clan, we like to take a balanced view, and yes, we don't always get promoted at the end of it, but I'm happy with how our clan progresses, and I think that the way that we finally, agreed upon on how to reward them and how to allocate attacks and generally war plan, I think our clan does that very well in a rounded, balanced approach. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Yeah. And I think this last one as well, because we allowed everybody, that chance to get in their 8, and we ended up winning that last war, we ended up moving up a spot, because I know that at one point before that last war that we ended up winning the last war, and before we won that war, I, did the numbers, did the math and everything, and I knew we had clinched 5th place. And for the amount of new people that we had, the amount of 7s and 8s that we were running in the war, for, the amount that some of the people struggled, and we still managed to get everybody, a chance to get their stars, I thought 5th place was pretty good, given that, we had just recently moved up to Gold 1 again. And so when we won that last war, we actually moved up and we got 4th place. So that even that little bit of extra medals, it helped everybody. And that last win was another batch that we could award to somebody. And, it made a big difference.
And I think it showed, actually, we weren't too bad. So even if the lower 2 clans had started attacking, the fact that we ended up 4th showed that actually we would have been in the running and could have held our own. I know that in our last episode we were saying, we'll probably scrape by and not get demoted because these last 2 clans are not a hitting, they're just sandbagging.
We did that,
but given the fact that where we ended up, I think even if they woke up halfway through and started attacking or whatnot, I think we would have been okay. It'd been close, but we
finished in the top half, so definitely.
So I'm quite pleased with how it's gone. It's still a mess down in the lower leagues, but it was a good result for our clan.
Well, I'm impressed with the fact of how many new ones we had in leagues, just over last leagues, and how many actually survived. How many, took the feedback that we were giving them, maybe try this, use this army, maybe instead it's a little bit more helpful against hitting up, and how many actually took the advice and you could see improvement. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are still some that are in the clan that their leagues, it was just like, wow, like you have taken nothing I've said and you've just kind of done your own thing. And I mean, the majority of the people, and you look at somebody, we've got one Town Hall 8 in the clan who's been at Town Hall 8 forever, has no plans of going to Town Hall 9, can, consistently hit up and do it successfully. And it's just like, this is one of the leader Town Hall 8s in the clan, look to this person, see what they're doing. And, I felt some of the other new Town Hall 8s, once I said that, kind of went and looked and, okay, now I have an idea of what it's supposed to look like. So I think it definitely helps to have that experience in the clan, too, of the ones that are that lower level that can do it, so you can see. I mean, we had a Town Hall 7, 2-star Town Hall 11. Granted, the Town Hall was on the outside, but I mean, you're thinking Town Hall 11, you're still having to snipe like 50% to get that second star. So,
yeah.
And I mean, at Town Hall 7, it's not just a regular dragon attack. You're using archers, you're using minis. You're not using your dragons in the same way you would as hitting a Town Hall 7. You're using your dragons to snipe like you would with your archers and minis as well. So it was definitely good. And I know that other Town Hall 7 that you were talking about definitely looked at that, and you could see it in his attacks or her attacks, that's they thought about it and were taking that into account.
Definitely. So we did have an influx of new players coming in, and we put them all in the Clan War Leagues because they doubt their spot. How did that go? How did the baptism of fire go? Was the survival rate decent, do you think? We lost a few along the way.
We lost a few, and we lost one of our other Town Hall 8s, who I think was busy with his other accounts or just busy with whatever and just couldn't be concerned enough to realize where he was on the map to hit early enough, because war was always waiting for him.
He was an established member as well. He had been in several wars with us and leagues with us. He's been with us for a while, but I think he'd been noticeably less engaged in the game over time. He rarely attacked other than war, which meant that he was requesting for war troops, but then actually never was on long enough to donate back to your clan. So,
and that's just what I was going to touch on. He wasn't in it for the clan anymore. He was solely thinking of himself, and I mean, it showed. I mean, when you're attacking with 2 hours left in war, not thinking that somebody might be having to cover your base, that if you fail on a base, that's an easier target for somebody else. He just wasn't thinking about those things. And I mean, we're not super competitive, like going to Poland or anything, but we like to win. We like people to be,
work as a team.
Rules, and it was just to the point where he wasn't anymore. So
yeah, and I can appreciate that he was a max Town Hall 8. He wasn't upgrading his Town Hall, and he just wasn't engaged in the team. He was going through the motions, and you could tell. And that's a shame when you get to that point. No doubt he'll probably have another interest in the game 3-4 months later down the line and be one of those people that are like, hey, I'm coming back. Not played the game for a while. And I think that leads on to something that I touched upon, and I think you'd said we were going to talk about. There's been a big lot of people coming back to the game, be it from the update being dropped, but I think a lot of what the recent numbers are driven by is obviously the pandemic that's going around. I think that's driven a lot of people, because they're in isolation. They've bored, really, and they think, oh, I'll just pick this up. Oh, I had this game. I'll just see what's changed and what's different. So, and I think that's driven a lot of recruitment. A lot of people coming back going, I've not played for months, years, days. So I don't know what's going on. And we've seen it in our clan as well. We have had established members that have had to go away due to life, had lost interest in the game, had to leave for whatever life threw at them, whatever excuse or reason that was, and they've been coming back online and attacking, and that throws an interesting dynamic into our clan. So we don't necessarily welcome back people. You're either in the clan or you're not in the clan. We have kind of a one-way structure there. And so it brings in a new sort of dilemma of what happens when you've got this person who, for whatever life reason it is, has had to leave, and then they want to come back. Do we let them back in? And a lot of things play into that. We've had other people that have faded away, and we've had to generally end up kicking them because they've just gone inactive. There's we don't use a third party app or anything to communicate, and if they're not reading their mails, there's no way to contact them either in any way. So they're just gone completely inactive, and you're forced to kick them. What happens then when they start attacking again, start playing the game again? Do you let them in? And I think we had touched on this in previous episodes, and I think you and I have both said it depends on how they left the clan and what those circumstances are and their history with the clan. A big question for me is, are they going to be here to stay? Because we've got one person come back, established member, before she went away, and she was also cool at that point. So she'd done her time, but was left on good terms, and now she's back. Also, and she says it's because of this pandemic, it's self-isolation. Yeah. And I have hopes that she'll stay. Even, well, who knows how long this pandemic will last, a year or something like that. But I'm hopeful that she'll stay.
So am I. I didn't realize how much I missed her being in the clan until she came back, and just when she was always one that, she didn't take any guff from anybody that was talking whatever. She would always come on with, somebody would say something and she'd be right there just to question them, or like, really, you think you're going to do that, whatnot. And just, just small little things like that would make me laugh. And I mean, again, today it happened, and it was just, and all she said was LOL, like she was laughing out loud at something I had said to somebody. And it's just something like that where, it just, for me, it puts a smile on my face, and it's just like, yeah, I can't believe for the last, 3-4 months or 6 months, however long she was gone, it was just like, man, yeah. What would that have been without her? So.
And she's not the most active player, and that's not what we're asking as a clan for. We ask for activity. Engagement in the clan doesn't mean that we want you to talk to us 24/7. So she's not the most active of people in the clan, but when she is, she's all in. And so I think that's why I'm hopeful that she will stay, because then she might be able to find that balance to say, okay, I'm in wars, I engage with the clan, every so often, and that's fine, and that's all we were really looking for. So yeah, and you know, we have had quite a lot of older in terms of time, players come back, or try to come back. It does. We do take them as a case by case basis, I think. Like we said, what circumstances led to them not being in the clan in the first place. But yeah, I don't know what you think. I think a lot of the new people that are coming in saying I'm not going to play the game are driven by the fact that they can't go outside.
Probably.
But I mean, fair enough. I guess hopefully it makes recruiting better, easier. Hopefully these are the good players that are coming back. You know?
Well, and too, like even with, you know, when I'm recruiting people now, I never used to invite the ones that didn't have a shield, because it was like, okay, and especially halfway through a season, like right now, I don't know where we're at, but I mean, especially halfway through a season, if you don't have a shield, like, are you going to be active? But I mean, now, because of the time that we're going through, because of the pandemic, it's just like, you know, maybe we'll get lucky and that person will, you know, it'll be somebody that's looking to come back because of what's happened or we're at whatever, and then they stick with it this time. So I've started inviting the ones without a shield. I mean, I still have my standards, what I invite, you know, for Town Hall 9s and 10s and 11s and stuff, but you know, I'm not so concerned about not having that shield anymore because of the time they're in.
I still don't invite people with a shield yet. More because I agree with what you're saying, but also I would like them to have a shield because it means that they've attacked and maybe have shaken off some of that rust. That would be good if you could just sort of, you know, get to grips back with the game again and then come, then that makes our job a lot easier.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially we've gotten a couple Town Hall 9s that, I'm just getting back into the game. It's just like, okay, they're unsure. They're still using Go Wipe as an army. It's just like, okay, it's been that long. And, you know, they're either upgrading a hero or, you know, something that keeps them from fulfilling their requirements that we need from them as soon as they join. And it's just like, oh man, like, are we going to wait for a day and a half for this hero to finish? And
yeah, well, which we did, for I guess this guy impressed us enough to allow those heroes to finish. But he ended up leaving anyway.
So, yeah, as soon as his heroes were done, he left. I couldn't understand why.
Feels so used. I guess he shook off the dust and you know, wanted a better clan or something.
Too good for us, I guess. And see, people like that, they just make me suspicious. It's just like what were you doing in the clan that whole time? Were you looking at our bases, seeing how they perform, taking those bases so you could go somewhere else and use them? Like, it's just, and that's part of the reason why I didn't invite a lot of 10s and 11s in the past, because I mean, especially our Town Hall 11 base. I'm sorry, but that base, it defended for me as Town Hall 11 every single.
It saved us a couple of wars.
It did it. And, I mean, even Town Hall 12s, and I mean, so I passed it along to our Town Hall 11, and he's having so much success with it. And, I mean, it's obviously a base that, you know, if everybody gets a hold of it, it's not going to be as successful as it is now.
Exactly. And that is just with base design. No base is going to defend against everything, but how common a base design does play a factor into how successful it is. You know, we look at all the war bases and we're like, oh, there's the donut, there's the one that every Town Hall 9 has that looks like, you know, what have you shape. And
too, a lot of the content creators, they're posting their bases online. If it's a famous content creator, everyone's grabbing that base, so then everybody knows how to hit that base in 3-star. And I mean, you don't want a base like that. You want something a little less common. Yes, and for me, like, I like going back a couple years. It's like, okay, this base was a good base back then.
As long as it's not that star base, or, you know, it's just, or the swirl.
not the common four square base or stuff like that, but just something that, you know, that was a little bit off, that was, you know, good back then, because the game has come so far, and, you know, now people are using different bases. I don't mind, you know, recycling the base a couple wars, see how it does, and
it's a bit like fashion, you know, comes back because, you know, it was good at some point, and then, you know, it has its good points.
Because, you know, the metas always change. I mean, who knows what the meta was back then when it was a strong base or when it wasn't a strong base, and, you know, because the game's always changing.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say be careful in terms of bases. I wouldn't. Oh yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be cautious with new people, and they're always, especially if they're quiet and they join. You know, like, are you just being a creepy lurker? Are you looking at our war bases? What's going on? Are you just learning how we as a clan work so that you can then apply it somewhere else and probably make a clan with the same rules?
Well, I mean, especially the war bases, because, I mean, to come into a clan, by the time we say, you know, go do this, I mean, you could have gone into our war log and looked through, like, 3 war bases, snapped the photos of all of our traps, and by the time we even, you know, get a response from you, it could be 2 minutes, but you've gone through the entire list of our war bases and gone out the door. Like, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, and then I think that's just the basis of spying in war, isn't it? I mean, yes, these people... I mean, I'm assuming that these people aren't spies, but we'll never know, really, will we?
Well, because right now, I mean, our clan is closed, and we've just been inviting people, and we've been getting enough people through invites that we haven't had to open up the clan. And I don't know if you've done that on purpose, but I kind of like it the way it is.
Well, actually, that was one of the things that I was wondering if we should open it up again. But again, today we were saved by it being closed, because we had new people coming in and they're like, hang on, I'm just going to get my other one in too. And it's like, oh, it's closed. That's the reason why.
That was the one where I said, he's like, I'm just going to invite my other account. I'm like, good luck with that. And then that one that came back, she just came on and she laughed, and that was all it took. Like, yeah.
So yeah, there are benefits to that. And we just do generally as a clan keep an eye for obvious spying members from the other clan, but you can never really know, and that's the gamble you take.
I honestly don't mind that it's closed because of that, because somebody could, you know, get invited with their Town Hall 7, say, and then, you know, just kind of not even saying anything, but looking in the background, even just, you know, doing some of the requirements that we ask, and then not even saying anything in you know, requesting with their Town Hall 11, and then we're stuck with 2 accounts. And so, I mean, I kind of like that we have the control.
Yeah, and that has happened, hasn't it? People that don't ask, and we accept them on their individual merits, and then suddenly we find that we have to kick 2 of them in war, and suddenly they're in the same clan, a different clan, and it's like, well, okay, so clearly they haven't really been upfront with why, or knowing that or saying that they know each other or they are the same person there. It becomes clear that way. So yeah, being a clan that's closed does have its benefits, and I guess now that I'm thinking about it, when we're closed, we don't get the people that we, I don't know, generally tick off because we've said or kicked them for what reason, and they want to come back, and well, they don't want to come back, but they want to still cuss us out and give them the satisfaction of requesting to join, but in the join message will have some sort of, I don't know, expletive or something telling us that we suck. So there is that sort of part of the fun gets excluded from when your clan is closed. Sometimes it's interesting to watch, see what people come back with, you know, see how what kind of interesting twist they have.
That's not good, because I'm the type of person who always likes to have the last word. It's like, if you're going to cuss me out, let me cuss you out first and then kick you so you can't come back and say anything back to me, because that way I get the last word. So I don't like
So you're the person that if we ever kicked you, you'd come back and then request to join to put down the cuss.
Absolutely, I would. And then I guess in I could always decline it, and that would kind of be like me getting the
But
last
don't decline
word.
it. As in, still never decline it because then it's always there in chat.
But then they get the last word.
No,
then
what you do, you accept them, and then you kick them again.
Well, and then they keep, they can keep doing it. But this way,
but you get a 2-day break.
If the clan is closed, I can kick them. I can swear at them. I can say whatever I want.
Good, sorry.
And I don't have to hear from them ever again. They might add me as a friend, but I can decline that all day long. I don't have to hear anything from them.
But with it to be invite only, you do get ones that perhaps have had read our clan description before joining. Rather than randomly selecting a clan. I guess if they're requesting to join, there must be a reason why they're wanting to join. Yes, they might be just wanting some trips or something, but you'd hope that because they are requesting to join, the motivation to sort of be in our clan is there. Whereas if you're just randomly inviting people and they're like, oh, I've got 5 invites, I'll just pick one. So we'll leave it closed for a couple of days and then we'll open it again and see what the difference is. Okay, so that was a right tangent. But I guess we have been alluding to this for a while and just never really had the time to do it, just with the update dropping and whatnot. But how's our wars going?
Well, we had, what were we on, 32 wins before War Leagues. We had a couple more wars. We had 3 more wars after that before Clan War Leagues. We couldn't find a war with our 11, 12, 13, so we ended up putting in our lowers, our Town Hall 7s to 9s. And we always knew that putting in those town halls, there was, a greater chance of tying, just because, it's a lot. The 3-star rate at those town halls is a lot higher than the higher town halls. So,
and it wasn't for lack of trying to find a war with the higher town hall.
We tried for a day and a half, almost 2 days, and yeah, so
I think it didn't help that our town hall 10 had to take a leave of absence for a couple of days, which meant we had this gap in our town halls as well, so that didn't help either.
Yeah. So we had our lowers in, and we had discussed a couple times, if we were going to lose our war streak, it wouldn't be the worst way to lose it on a tie. And that's what happened. We ended up having a 20 versus 20. We matched another clan. It was fairly even. And we ended up tying. So
yeah, we should say that we ended up tying because we both our clans had 100%. So there was no other, way to.
And I kind of figured that that's the way it was going to go, because we do have strong Town Hall 9s who can hold their own in war. I know that war, there was one base that gave us trouble, but we had our 9s covering each other and got it all cleaned up. So, our streak ended, our win streak ended, but we still are undefeated. After that war that we did tie, we won 2 more wars before we went into Clan War Leagues. So we are on a 35 win unbeaten streak, I guess you could call it.
Unbeaten streak, I guess. And that's fair enough. It's not a winning streak, isn't it?
No.
But it's still something. A grey is still better than a red.
It is, and I was just gonna say that grey one was one that popped out a red, so it was better than a red.
It was an upgrade
back
then.
So
yeah, so
30, and we've potentially got another win here. We just need a couple more stars. So 36 in a row that we've been unbeaten. That's a pretty decent streak that we've got.
So the plan now, or the aim now, is to try and get rid of all the reds.
The red ones.
Get all the reds away.
red
You know, if we have to trade them for greys, I'm okay with that. Greens are better, but even if we get rid of all the reds, that is still an achievement in itself. So
four more red ones to go. I think 14
oh goodness. Do you think we can do it?
I don't know. We've got another town hall 10 back.
Yeah.
And she's gonna have to shake off some rust, I think, and I think it'll depend on how our other town hall 10 who took that leave of absence does as well once she's back in war.
We do have so I think we've also discussed this in the past, how we like to try and build our members up so that they sort of evolve and upgrade their town halls naturally within our clan. So we get homegrown kind of talent there. And I think a lot of that has been starting to bear fruit. Not all the way there yet, but we are seeing with our concentrated recruiting into the lower town halls, a lot of them are starting to work through their bases and are ready to move on to the next town hall, which then bulks up where our usual, I guess, lineup is. And hopefully that sort of momentum will keep going and our lineups become more, let's say, common in terms of finding war searches. We are seeing Town Hall 8s that are progressing to Town Hall 9s, and it's now trying to stop Town Hall 9 flakeouts. I think we've had a lot of people that are wanting to upgrade their Town Halls. Some already, some are not. But it's good to see people staying, playing the game, progressing in their game within the clan, and sort of it's nice to see that the seeds that you and I and the leadership team are planting in terms of recruiting these people that are moving in the game, and it's nice to see doing some little clan gardening.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah. So I think that's a positive result. I think you mentioned you were wanting to try and recruit some higher town halls, just to balance out, and also just to sort of to give our higher town halls a little bit more support as well. In terms of
just finding a war, and once you have a war, it's a lot easier. The pressure isn't as much if you know that you have another town hall 10 in war with you, that if you happen to fail, they're able to hit that base as well, instead of the town hall above you, because I know I always felt bad, the town hall above me having to hit down and clean up my stuff. So it takes the pressure off a little bit, and it gives that town hall. Our 9s, our 8s, we have an abundance of them in the clan. So if anybody needs a challenge, there's somebody there to pop one up. Whereas the 10, 11, 12, 13, we've got 2 10s and then one of each of the others. So it's a little bit harder to challenge and to practice. You're forced to do it in multiplayer, which you don't always get that defensive CC in there that you kind of need, and you're not always hitting war type bases, so it's a little bit more difficult.
Definitely. And I think now that we've been successful in our Town Hall 8s, Town Hall 7s recruiting, we can sort of afford to try and have some Town Hall 10s, 11s, 12, 13s flaking out on us in terms of new recruits. I feel like I haven't been abused at for a while, so I'm okay with that. Recruiting some people that have ego issues or what have you, cussing us out and flaking out and leaving. I'm okay. I feel like I've not been cussed at a lot these few weeks. There have been a few, but my threshold for these is lower, higher now, so I can handle a bit more now. And that's not to say that every single higher town hall is like that. It's just we find that the people that do come into our clan are more likely to be not stable. Because
and I don't know about you, but I've been seeing it a lot with Town Hall 7s now as well, because Town Hall 7
because that's their mini.
Where a lot of, it's the mini account, right?
Yeah.
And they're building their mini account. So they come into the clan. It's just like, why do I have to prove myself? I have a Town Hall 11 and I have a Town Hall 13. This is a mini account. I know what I'm doing.
But yet they can't. They just. But then they're unable to show that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because they can't be bothered, and that's fine. Then that we're not the clan for them. But
well, I think that's probably what it is. Just because I mean, there's a clan on every corner. You don't want to, you want to be lazy and don't want to do it in this clan. I'll just go to another clan where they'll probably give me free elder and whatever else.
Remember, we got cussed at yesterday, didn't we? We got told that we were all being presidents of, we were playing the game like we were all presidents of a country. And I was like,
somebody's gonna start something and they're gonna be like, why do I have to do this? And then I'm just gonna go off and I'm gonna be like, because we take the game too seriously, because we're try hard, and I'm just gonna go off on all the things that people cuss us out for.
And you know what? Sometimes, ethically or not, sometimes it's fun to see, what kind of new reason, new excuse they can come up with, to not actually make an effort. It's I like to be surprised. I haven't been surprised in a while. To see what kind of, whatever reason it is that they can't do whatever it is that we asked them for. And I will admit, sometimes there's people that you're like, he's not going to last. But we're fair, we treat everyone fairly, we give them the chance, they've got, same chances as everyone else, even though your gut feeling tells you you're not going to last. So you just start throwing them all the excuses that you've been told before to say, oh, but if you think that, you're new to the game, you're just coming back and you need time, that's fine. Go, you're willing to try, that's fine with us. Or, you think your troops aren't very highly leveled up because you rushed, that's fine. I believe in you, because we've had lower town halls that can do the same. Or, you try and twist the excuse that they give you in advance, so that they have nothing left to say, and then suddenly, so it's like, I appreciate that if you don't think you want to try, then, our clan's not for you. Our clan, everyone makes an effort, everyone holds their own. If you don't think that's you, fair enough. And then they get stubborn and they don't leave. But then, I don't know. So sometimes you'll push them up to a point where they just pop. And then they're like, oh, this clan it's the worst clan ever, you all suck, and then they just leave, or all that. So sometimes on boarding days, it's a lazy Sunday, I will guiltily admit that sometimes it's fun to goad new members that are clearly not a fit for the clan, clearly not wanting to put an effort in, to see how long it actually takes for them to sort of flake out. If they don't flake out, fine. Fair enough. You get the same amount of time as everyone else, every other new player. But I would like to see, how well you handle perhaps constructive criticism. It's because how you get better. If I tell you maybe you don't need 50 archers for cleanup, how you're going to take that advice. Because if you can't, for our clan, if you can't handle, being asked to do something, then how the hell are you going to follow a war plan?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I think we tangented again. But what else was on that list? Oh, the update.
Yeah, the update. I know that we had talked about it in the last episode that we did, but more so now, I think each of us has kind of used all of the super troops. You unlocked one, and then I unlocked a different one, and we've kind of had a chance to use all four of them now, and what do you think about the ones that you unlocked?
So I will. What my general opinion now that we've had a few days or weeks, I can't remember now, to play with it. My general view is, before they launched it, it's completely I take it back. I take it all back. The ones that I liked before, I don't like, and the ones that I didn't like, I do like now. So, I think I mentioned that I was looking forward to the Supergiant. They're a bit disappointing. They're not as powerful as I thought they would be. I don't like.
I did hear someone say they're powerful, but as a bunch. They can't just be, one or two on their own. It has to be as a group.
I think I don't like them because I use giants. Giants play a part in my war army for a particular reason. So I like to take giants. But as at every town hall and in every war, we all know that a war army, every troop space in your camp is important. So I don't take mass giants. I take a few giants for my particular needs, and I don't like the fact that I cannot take giants if I've got super giants. So, and it was messing up with my war composition as well. I was like, I have to take less of this. And they're not fulfilling the need that I have for why I take them into the war. So I'm now patiently trying to work out these, however many days left I've got these. And another reason I don't like them is because some of our town hall takes a couple of giants in as filler for their main CC troops. You might have, I don't know, a P.E.K.K.A. and a giant or something like that to make it 30. But I can't give that one extra giant, so the request is up there, and I'm like, I can't. I can see it's there. I can see the open request, and I can't fill it because I've got the setting whereby I want to see what I can't fill, because technically I should be able to fill everything as a Town Hall 13, but I can't, and it's there, and it's annoying, and I'm like, there's someone else waiting for war troops. Hurry up. So I don't like that. The wall wrecker, what are they called? Super wall wrecker, is it? They're okay. I can see their value, but again, the amount of troop space that they take is not enough to justify me taking them. It's like you said, if you know how to handle your troops well enough, you can do the same with wall breakers. Again, I guess the only advantage you're getting there is that you're guaranteed the bomb's gonna go off. And if you know what you're doing with them, maybe 9, possibly 8 times out of 10, you'll be okay. For that troop space. So I haven't played with goblins a lot, so I will hold judgment for that. But right now, my thinking is that the barbarians are probably the best out of the bunch. And I haven't used barbarians yet, but I've taken them in the CC, and I have noticed just exactly how powerful they are. So, and if I'm only taking them in the CC, goodness knows what they're like.
They definitely are. Granted, I'm down into Gold League now because I've just been farming walls and stuff, and I've been using. I unlocked the goblins first, and I unlocked the super barbarians second, and my entire army was just barbarians.
And 20
to get
a couple. I saw when you raised, you had 20 wall breakers.
And then, no, that was just because more had popped out from the previous army, and I take 4 rage and 3 freeze. And with that, I mean, there was bases where I was just wrecking with just these barbarians, and it was crazy because, I mean, you drop a couple on the collectors, and then you've got everything funneled, and it's just like, okay, and then, you put a wrecker in to get into the base, or your wall breakers to get in with your heroes, and I was walking through the entire base with these barbarians, and I mean, I was doing it where, you drop 6, let them rage up, go in, do their thing, drop another 6. So, I mean, I staggered them as they went in, but I was quite impressed with how strong they were.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about the super troops? Other than the barbs, because I
will
think you've talked about them.
I will never use the giants. I don't use giants for war in general, so I will never have a use for them because I use wall breakers to get into the walls. I do like the goblins, and as long as I still have things to farm, that will probably be the troop that I keep unlocking after 7 days once I've tried them all, just because it's so easy to farm with them. And I mean,
So I convinced you now about goblins now, huh?
Well, these are super goblins, so they're a little bit different than the regular goblins. And I mean, my take on them has definitely changed. I still don't. I'm not a fan of them because of where I am in terms of league now. I can't be practicing for war down here with them, so I mean, it's a disadvantage for me that way. But I mean, in terms of getting loot, they're definitely a good way to farm.
Do you think that it's sort of, well, I don't know if it's made it more fun, but it's given you, if you get sick of, I don't know, doing your war army all the time, it makes for a good break to sort of, I'll just throw 200 barbs down or something like that.
Well, and I mean, I still have, as long as I still have heroes to do, I'm going to be focusing on loot because I want my heroes to be maxed as soon as possible. So for me, down in Gold League now, farming down here, I'm not so much worried about my war army because I know that, I'm down here farming so I can get them up. Once my heroes are up, I'll probably start using my war army again because I'll know that I have max heroes. I can start focusing on different armies to use in war because I have those max heroes and I know I'm getting max value out of them. So once my heroes are maxed, I'll probably head back up. But for the time being, I mean, it's benefit for me to be using these troops to farm. Because I mean, when you're spending 45,000 elixir and you're pulling in close to 800,000, I mean, you can't go wrong with
I
that.
told you these figures when I was talking about Goblin now.
Well, no, and I mean, I know that because I pushed with the Ghost before because even the Ghost, they were cheap. And it's just, for me, it's not so much using the troop that was the issue. It was having to drop league, having to use that army instead of my war army, which is what I've always done to raid with because that's how I played the game. That's how I got better. I used my war army to attack when I was raiding. So it's just a different way of playing for me. I still prefer using my war army, but I've realized that this is an effective way to farm as well.
Good. I think for me, because I am, I have max heroes at 10 of 13, I will view it as a Dark Elixir dump, and I will probably only ever have in my barrel, what is it called? I don't know what the thing is called, but in that barrel, I think only I will choose either barbs or goblins, because then that way it will never mess with my war army, mess with war donations, and that's fine with me because those are the ones I like. So, but for me, yeah, I don't think I'll be using giants or the super wall wreckers, because 7 days is just too long.
Yes, no kidding. I'm between the two of us upgrading, alternating troops and whatnot, I did manage to get through 3 of the events. The only one that I didn't get through was the super wall breakers, and that was because you didn't want to donate them to me.
That is not true. That's not true. It's just,
I only ended up getting 2 of those done, so I still have to I'll probably just unlock them myself this after my barbarians are done. Just to
remember,
try,
you can't train them up for war. So
no, and I know I haven't been using them as much for war because the way that I do my queen charge in with the wrecker and stuff like that. So, and I mean 8 space. That's it's 4 wall breakers. I usually take 4 wall breakers. But 4 wall breakers could get me in 2 levels, whereas one super wall breaker is only going to get me in 1 now. So I'd have to use my jump a little bit differently, probably. So it would be an adjustment. And I mean, we'll see how that goes.
Okay. And in general, the updates, not much has changed, has there? We don't see it impacting wars. I guess just because we're not that high a level yet, but also I think people are still trying to work out what to do with them. But other than that, updates ticking along, nothing majorly changed, I think.
No. No.
Okay, have we covered everything on your list?
The events. Like I kind of touched on, the events that we got going on, the 4 different super troops that we have. And now there is the Mage Rage event going on, the Wizards and Rage, for the next 2.5 days for 2 training potions. Then the Construction Reduction Builder Base event coming up. So it'll be a Builder Base rune, probably, I'm guessing. And then the Double Golem Destruction. That's a new one coming up.
I don't think we really get runes for events, do we? These are kind of more potions, these ones.
But in the Builder Base, you
get a research potion and a clock potion.
The clock tower potion, I guess you could get, but I'm hoping it'll be a rune of something. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'd be trading it in for gems anyway, so.
Mm-hmm. I've forgotten that the wizard event is on. I'll have to remix my army camp and just throw them all down again when I get the star. And I do them because sometimes there's gems, and you get the gems from your potions that you sell, so it's worth the effort. Because I'm frantically saving for my next war base slot. Only about 500 more events to go. Because they're ridiculously priced each time.
Have you unlocked one yet, or no?
No, not yet. So was it 2,000 for the first one?
The first one is 1,000.
1,000. Yeah, I'm still stingy. That's a lot of gems. But yeah, that's what I'm currently saving as. And it should come a little bit easier now with these events and the season pass and whatnot. Okay.
I guess we're at 1 hour and 10 minutes, and we've got one Can't Fix Stupid that you are going to share.
Yes. Oh, you'd think that after the last time we'd have a lull because there was so many, but no, they just keep. It's the gift that keeps giving. So I don't know if you recall this. I think you were there. I think you were online, but there was this new recruit, and he was saying that he's just back in the game and whatnot. And I think he was a Town Hall 7 or Town Hall 8, really. I think he was a Town Hall 8, so slightly rushed. But again, you can fix rushed. Just can't do the other part. And so he's saying, I'm just back in the game, still kind of on the ropes. So we naturally asked him, show what you can do. Make your army and show us what you can do. And he was showing us replays of, basically Barge. Right? Or giant Barge, I guess. Giants, archers, and barbarians, and things like that. And we were like, no, you need to take your strongest army. You've unlocked dragons. Why don't you just take dragons? Right? That's your strongest troop right now. And he was like, why can't I use this army? And I wasn't involved in these conversations. It was quite nice watching this play out with some of our other elders trying to explain to this person why they should take your strongest troop. And he's like, I don't understand. And this is the moment where he goes, and this is the Can't Fix You really goes, what's the difference between level 4 barbs and level 2 dragons? And I swear there was at least a minute of silence as somebody tried to frantically work out how to explain how a level 2 dragon was, in every sense of the word, better than a level 4 barb. I don't care if you're sniping, a dragon will still do that. The only thing that had it going is you could take, 20 barbs instead of 1 dragon. Maybe snipe that way. But I don't think that's what he was planning on using his barbs for. So it was just and I was quite interested to see what the elder that was taking this guy through, what he was going to say. But I think he was just going to say, What did he end up saying? I can't remember now. But he was just saying, "Are you seriously asking this question?" I don't think I can help you. It was just not gonna happen. Basically, when someone's got a question like that, they're missing something fundamental. There's a reason why you unlock troops at a certain stage. There's a reason why it costs more to upgrade them and whatnot. So, yeah, that was my can't fix stupid. So Jen, if somebody came on, because I don't think you responded, what would you say?
What would I say to somebody? Why are level 4 barbs?
What's the difference between level 4 barbs and the level 2 dragon? On the basis that we're saying you should take your strongest troop.
Well, I mean, there's the obvious that the dragon does more damage per shot, and obviously has more hit points.
Mm-hmm. But they're level 4 barbs. They're twice the level of our dragons. 2 times the level of dragons, Jen.
But a dragon, you can also get away from all the ground defenses, and in the game there are more ground defenses than there are air defenses. So
you're very calm in this. Very well done. Shows you've got seasoned experience in dealing with such circumstances.
I would just be like, if you're seriously asking this question, I don't think you belong in this clan. I would be.
So that's my can't fix stupid moment recently.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'll have an answer now. I'll use your answer next time.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, we are just coming up on an hour and 15 minutes. Some of us have
your time a lot faster. I'm only getting an hour.
Oh, okay. I might be a little faster.
Otherwise, the dinner I've got in the oven is burnt to crisp.
Yeah, so we'll probably have to get going here. Like I said, we've got a war going on, so next one we could probably update you on how our war is going. We've got our 10 and our 11 upgrading heroes, so we might not find a match with our uppers this next couple little bits.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a lot of interesting topics, because we kind of...
Hopefully. I know that I've invited probably 40 Town Hall 9s and close to 10 Town Hall 10s and 5 Town Hall 11s. So we'll see if any of those join and see if we have any more Can't Fix Stupids and stories to tell in the next episode. Probably going to happen next week, just given, time changes and everything and when we can get on now. So
yeah,
we'll have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
So until then, we will see you all later.
Bye.